Anybody need anything else right quick? We got a little business and history, family history. We'll say.
Here's your notes you don't make. You got to start off.
We're gonna take a few minutes. Sam's gonna go over how many, 13, 12. Had 12 children, so we come from a large family and we've continued to make it large. We've got a pretty good legacy going here, and she's gonna go over some of the highlights for those that may not be up to snuff with the Shoopman family tree.
And I gave some of it last year, but most of you who were here won't remember all of it. So we shall repeat. That's the best way to teach. This is about Jack and Mandy Shoopman, and these are the ones that we have honored since we started. On July 6, 1958, a get-together of the Shoopman clan was enjoyed in Sweetwater, Texas, at the home of J.E. and Rada Holman. Granny Shoopman, 85 years of age, was present. 5 families were represented, with 34 attending. Those of you who've been around for some time know that we owe all of this to Bob Leghorn, who started reunions. And he organized and executed many of our reunions that we've had in previous years. So many of you, most of you here from the first cousins, have had some sort of responsibility through all of these years. President, vice president, treasurer, and all of these things. So all of us have contributed through the years. On June 24, 25, 1946, was the first official, that's not right. Yeah. Was the first official Shoopman reunion held at the VFW Hall in Seymour. All 11 of the children were present. From 1967, 2014, 19 reunions have been scheduled. Therefore, this weekend, June 10, 11, 2016, is our 20th Shoopman reunion. Our grandfather, Elisha Jackson Shoopman, was born in Cumberland County, Kentucky on April 2, 1875, although his headstone in Vera shows 1874. He was born to Joshua Shoopman and Elvira Lawson. He had a twin sister called Lizzie. He preferred to be called Jack or LJ. He had 9 other siblings. He came to Texas in 1894 when he was 19. He married Amanda Perry on December 20, 1894 in Erath County. We don't know how they met or anything, but he had just been here a short time when they got married. His bride, Amanda, and she was called Mandy, Victoria Perry, was born to John Perry and Nancy Sanders on February 13, 1873 in Smith County, Texas, near Tyler. She had 9 siblings. Jack and Mandy had 12 children. Ruby died in infancy in 1913. The first 5 were born near Red Oak, Texas in Ellis County. I've listed the birth dates of the children, their spouses and children, but I don't have married dates. In 1896, Willie Ellis, who preferred to be called Bill, and Holly had 3 children. Born in 1897 was Lily Mae, Lily, and Ernest Woods, and they had 10 children.
Do we have any of their family is represented right here with 8? Would someone volunteer to stand up and go around with the names, or
each one can introduce
or each one of you can, if that would be easier?
Names of all the kids though. Everybody. Okay.
Start with your mom.
Yes. So my mom, Letha Woods Smith, and then my dad, Al Smith, and I am Al Smith, Jr. Keith, his wife Lynn, my wife Bridget.
And my niece,
Yeah.
Pat,
Pat, Laura,
and Helen, her husband.
Okay. And they settled in Oklahoma at an early age. I don't know which of the children, you said you were about two?
About two, so
You went to
about
Oklahoma.
78 years ago.
Okay. In 1899, Myrta Bell, who was called Myrt, married Jewel Knight, and they had 4 children.
Any, do we have
We
anybody here?
don't have
from-
anyone here because all of her family is dead. And they are all buried in Vera Cemetery, except, I'm not sure about Frankie. Does anyone remember, was Frankie buried?
I almost think that she's buried out there too.
Okay, I kind of thought, but I'm
I
not
think
sure.
I saw her tombstone.
Yeah, yeah. In 1901, Rosa Etta Rose was born, and she married Henry Gleghorn. They had 3 children.
And today, my wife Stephanie, and I'm Kyle, and I have brother and a sister, and mother's still living. Dad passed away about a year and a half ago, about a year and a half ago.
Okay. In 1903, Albert Jackson, we knew as Ab, married Lil Blackburn. They had 6 children, and none of them are here today. Laverne is probably, Billy came with us several years. She passed away. Laverne is next oldest, and her daughter lives in Dallas and told us that her mother is being transferred to a nursing home this weekend. And then we've also had Webb from that family who has been here at least 2 different times. He was not able to come. Did he tell you why?
No, he
Okay.
said he wouldn't get to attend.
Okay. Then the next 2 were born on the Coal Ranch in Lancaster, Dallas County. And 1905, Leona Pearl Moore married Henry R. Penn Moore, and they had 4 children.
Any of his children here?
Okay, I'm Winnette, and I'm second oldest. Wayne deceased about, how many?
About 8 years.
About 8 years ago. And then Moselle, his wife, just died this past, just a few months ago. And we have a few more. Ray, introduce yourself.
I'm Ray Moore, I'm the last one.
The baby. Okay? Just go on and.
Jack.
Who are
Jack.
you?
Who are you? Jack.
Okay.
Don't you remember me?
Easy to forget.
Turn that one around, didn't you? And John, and Brett, John.
Yeah, John, tell us about your family.
John Moore, my wife Marshall's over there with Whitley and Sydney Moore. We've got a third one, Nicole, that's 25. She's not here. Whitley's 15. Sydney's 12. Marshall, I'm not going to give her. But I'm his son, her son, only son. They got it right the first time.
And in introducing my older son Wayne, Brent is here. Brent, tell us about your family.
Wayne and Moselle's son, my whole family, immediate family, is in Fort Worth. We live in Fort Worth. We've got a 1-month-old granddaughter she's the center of attention right now, so they're all there, and Brandon in particular said to say hi to everybody. He really enjoys coming to these and hearing this and doing the golf thing. So. And that's my sister Brenda and her family, Jim, Mackenzie, and Parker. We all live within about 30 minutes of each other in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. My 2 kids are there as well. So.
Okay. Did we get everybody? Let's see. Ray, you didn't introduce your wife.
This is my wife Barbara. This is my son John.
Okay. And Joanne has been with us for a number of years. She's Joanne with Jack. And then we have another one over here.
My name's Ronnie Moore. I'm Jack Moore's oldest son. This is my son, Tyler and my daughter Nicole. I'll let you get up and tell them how old you are and about where you live. Same with you, Nicole.
Do I have to stand up?
Yeah. You're on video.
Tyler, you go first.
I'm 16, I live in Willis.
What's your name?
Tyler?
I am 14, my name's Nicole, and my mom lives in Montgomery, my dad lives in Willis.
We live in the Lake Conroe area and in Texas.
Okay. Then in 1907, Ethel Irene, called Reen, married Virgil Prophet. They had 2 children. And Max is deceased. Giselle still lives in Odessa. 1909, Henry Clyde, we called Bud, was born near Abilene, married Ida Colston. They had 1 daughter. Mary Helen is deceased. Then born in Knox County, Texas, the last 3. In 1912, Luther James. We called him Luther and we also called him Pig. Do you all remember that, any of you? But I don't know why. He married Dina Sansom, and they had 2 daughters. Norita still lives in Tyler, and then the younger one is close by. They both live in Texas. They were unable to get here. In 1915, Nellie Rada, we call just Rada, married J.E. Holman, and they had 5 children, and we have some representatives.
Showtime. Justin. Do we have, how many reps do we have for
There's 3 of us girls here.
3 of you here? And go ahead and start with your family.
I'm Barbara. I'm married to Joe Pat, over down there. And we have 2 daughters that live in Plano and 2 grandchildren.
We didn't mention our daughter.
That's, I just thought about that.
Andrea.
She would not be happy.
I'm Linda, and that's my husband Breezy down there, and we have 3 children, 3 sons, 6 grandchildren. We live here in Seymour.
And I'm Trellis, and I'm married to Donnie, and we have 2 children. We have Kelly and his wife Shalay, somewhere down there.
Right
And
here.
then this is my daughter Suzanne, and then we have 1 granddaughter, Brianna.
Hey, Brianna Wade, you all are on video.
And you know that? She's back there.
Yeah, she's back there.
It'll be on YouTube next
So
week.
she likes to come see her cousins.
Okay. And then in 1919, Annie Ruth, we called Ruth, married O.C. Holcomb. They had 2 children. I talked to Ron. He lives in Fort Worth, was unable to come. And then Diane died several years ago. She has a daughter who still lives in Midland. And that is the 12. Jack and Mandy left, okay, did I overlook anyone? Excuse me, who did I overlook? What did I overlook?
Looking around, they covered everybody.
Well, I've got 2 more. I've got a sister named Rhonda, which is my younger sister of Jack Moore's, and Ricky Moore, which is the youngest of all, which is Dad's youngest son.
Okay. Jack and Mandy left Dallas County about 1908 and moved by train to Jones County near Ty. In the fall of 1909, they moved to Knox County, northeast of the Vera community. Mr. Shoopman had a large team of mules called Kate and Roddy, helped the family to cross the Brazos River. They lived on 4 different farms before Mr. Shoopman, Grandpa Shoopman, was able to buy the Harper Place in the Cottonwood community. It's located on the Lubbock Highway, 4 miles west of Red Springs, 4 miles east of Vera, with the farm to market road to Goree on the south side of the highway from their home. I think the Woods are going out to Vera today to the cemetery, so they'll pass the old home place, which is not there anymore. The children attended the Cottonwood schools when they did not have to work on the farm. Jack was a farmer until retirement. He enjoyed playing crochet and dominoes and attending the singings. Children, we used to have singings where people would get together and everybody would just sing old songs of some sort. So it was a very popular pastime. The grandchildren remember the Model A Ford he drove. Do any of you first cousins remember the Model A? What do you remember about it?
Oh, I just remember the dents in it. He had a lot of mishaps. That's all I remember about it.
What I remember about it is when we would come from Red Springs to Seymour, we came every Saturday. It was a big day. I would sometimes spend the night with them. We'd get into the Model A. We'd get to Hawkins Hill, if you're familiar with that. Grandpa would turn off the ignition. We'd coast down the hill. Then he'd turn it back on. I remember that so vividly. He was very frugal.
I was not even in the family at this time, but I very well remember when he would come to town, that old Model A and play dominoes every day down at Hogan's, Mr. Hogan's, on Washington Street. He had a croquet place out there, played croquet every day.
Right.
And I was not even in the family, but I knew the
You
Hogan
remember.
family.
Yeah, right, interesting. Okay. And this is interesting. He had a detached garage, and his Model A stayed in that detached garage. Mandy had the characteristics of a pioneer wife and mother. Her life was unselfishly devoted to family, love for grandchildren, 41 total grandchildren. You think she remembered all of our names? And she cared for 2 adult sons, an adult daughter, and a grandson during troubled times. She also raised a granddaughter with never a complaint. After 1945-49, they bought and lived in the rock house on the former Tom Sessions small 30-acre plot about 4 miles west of Seymour on the south side of the Lubbock Highway. That old rock house is not there anymore either. The last home in which both lived was in Seymour, moving there about 1949. The big house on the hill on a corner lot north of the hospital and northeast of the VFW building was purchased from Alton Shaw. Now, all of these names are important for history's sake. Alton Shaw and every farm they lived on, it was Grandpa somebody's farm because all the older people were known in that way. Jack died in August 1951 in the Seymour Hospital, a coronary thrombosis, heart problem. He's buried in the Vera Cemetery. Mandy died May the 28th, 1969 in the Seymour Hospital. They never diagnosed her problem, but she had severe stomach cramp, very, very difficult. And she is buried in the Vera Cemetery. Does anyone have any other history to add to this? Any personal quips? Okay, that's it.
Got I guess a little quick, hopefully quick business we need to take care of. First off, most obvious, I guess, for the meals, if you were here last night, $5 per person for anyone attending last night, and for this meal, which turned out to be a y'all did super great getting this thing put together. But for each person attending that ate lunch today is $10 per person there to help cover the cost of all of this. There's quite a few, like I said, a few things we can go over. First off, and most obvious, we have continued to drop over the years in numbers. And we want some input as to what we need to do next. Do we want to continue the reunion? Do we want to continue it here? Do we want to maybe change the, what is venue, is that the word? Venue and go like we did a couple of times in Fort Worth even at a hotel and have a meal provided, something like that. What are your thoughts on it? This is really, all of a sudden now I'm in our golf tournament, Brent and I are we're on the senior tour all of a sudden. And it's It's about a 11-hour drive for us. We love coming to Seymour. If it was an hour and a half drive, we would love it a whole lot more. The older we get, the harder it is to make these trips. And we want to know what your thoughts are on if we do, and if we do, that's great. If we don't, we'll deal with that. Or if we want to change it and maybe do something like the Fort Worth that would have more things to do around it for a family weekend outing or something like that. What are your thoughts? Anybody got any sense of direction?
Speak up, younger ones.
Yes, please do.
My vote would be the Fort Worth area.
Okay, if you remember, it's been probably 12, 14 years. We did that
We did a couple of years, did Fort Worth.
a couple of years back to back, didn't we?
How'd that work out? Because I didn't personally attend either one of those if we done it twice there. I'm just curious.
Yeah, we got, I know one time it was Green Oaks Motel that they gave us a discount and everybody showed up. I think everybody had a good time. I think Brent got us a tee time at one of the city golf courses, not one of the high dollar ones. Brent knows better to do that. And there was a good time. There was swimming, and obviously in Fort Worth, there's so much more to we all loaded up. Granny Shoopman would have been proud. We all went to Billy Bob's and had a super time there. So any other comments about going to Fort Worth or that area, changing it that for a while, or making it more accessible to a majority of us, or?
Kyle, the only thing I'm thinking, it's very expensive. If you're going to get a hotel,
Yeah.
traffic is horrific in the
Yeah.
Metroplex, and it might be a problem for some. That would be the only thing that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Well, it would,
Well, you probably need to look somewhere out on the
outskirts.
edge. Yeah, so
Yeah.
going into Fort Worth.
Yeah. That would have everything, the reunion.
There are a lot of places to stay in that area that were for the oil and gas that are probably got pretty good rates right now.
Yeah,
They're building a lot of them when things crash, so you could look around and find some.
Yeah.
You know, like Granbury, places like that, or just like.
Granbury would be a neat place to do it.
Granbury's
Yeah.
Shopping.
It's less expensive, they got the square to the lake there, and they got
Right.
golf courses. A lot of people have families.
we've only been through there one time, but it's a real neat place.
It is. Texoma's a nice area, they've got a big, inn there that you can stay in, same kind of thing. Granbury for the shopping and all that would be,
Yeah, and it would be out away from most of the hubbub.
yeah, it's about an hour out of Fort Worth.
Okay. Outside the loop and away from the majority of it.
We were kind of thinking a one-day affair instead of an all.
Yeah, that was another thing, this is just me off the top of my head, and this gets scary sometimes. Drive in, everybody maybe get 2 nights unless you want to turn around and drive back Saturday, but get in there on Friday and make a one-day, all-day thing somewhere at Granbury at the hotel, have it catered. Most hotels have big reunion type rooms that they can facilitate something like this, and make a one-day event of it. And the kids, you've got the swimming areas, and like I say, you're not far from golf courses and stuff like that, and shopping. Any thoughts as to simplifying it to that extent? Oklahoma Woods, would this be a good change for you all, or would this be?
It wouldn't make any difference if our kids drive us there, but.
Okay, all right, let's go to the kiddos then.
We would be glad to drive them if they wanted to come. So,
Yeah.
It's not that far down there.
Yeah, and pretty much straight drive on or good highway. We're not putting anybody out on bad roads then. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is get someone or someones, 3 or 4 maybe, that can put their heads together. This is not a rush right now, because you don't have to get, surely you don't have to do a 2-year advance reservation like Suzanne's been doing for us to get this. She puts it in over a year prior to this, don't you? And she's there, because she works there, she's there that first morning and walks in and is insured the success of this for a long time. She's sort of the unknown story, and I really appreciate her for doing that for us. But if we could get 2 or 3 people that could communicate, it's easier now to do emails and stuff like that, that can maybe check over the next few months and get some ideas on prices and locations. Could we maybe have, I'll ask this, ask for volunteers.
I'll do that. I'll work on that.
I'll help him. Sid and Dana would help him too. They like, Sid and Dana's good at getting stuff together too.
Yeah,
Sid's familiar with all some stuff down through there.
that's right, he was working in Fort Worth for a while, wasn't he?
He works all down through there.
Okay.
Not now, but he has.
Okay,
So we're just talking about one night.
well,
Saturday.
an all-day Saturday
They have a
deal, like,
choice of when they get there.
yeah, say, just examples, maybe everybody starts showing up at 10, and then have a light lunch, and then maybe have a main meal that evening, or a one big meal, however, you want to do that, and then those that want to stay would maybe spend that Sunday night, you'd be out just one night then if you want to do that, and get drive back. Is there does that sound something feasible for everyone that could probably work for everyone? You youngsters, we want y'all happy, because if y'all ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So, yeah, swimming and all that stuff, if we can provide that, will that make it a little better for you? I know the pool's not open at the golf course here yet, is it? Okay, so we'll try and make sure they got a pool wherever you are. So, if there's no other, any other suggestions about this? Do you want to keep it about this same time of the year? We did have it on July 4th weekend a lot of times, and the heat just got horrendous. The heat got higher as our ages are getting higher, and that doesn't add up. And this week, this time has seemed to have worked. We've been able to get out here 2 or 3 times, and it's been just ahead of the dog days as they set in, and it's been fairly calm. This weekend's been as good a weekend as we could have ever wanted with Tim. Is this a good time for everybody? Or is there a better time someone would like to see it moved to? All the schools are out, so there's not any pressure there as far as then do I hear a motion, or do we go through the Gwinnett? Is there a formality, or since we've had volunteers?
Well, that's what I was just thinking. We have volunteers, and if they want to divide it according to some officer, and we need the treasurer in with the planning and all of that. Brenda's been real good Brenda and Jim, with the database and keeping the current addresses. So if the 3 of them could fill those 3 offices, or whatever that they would like to do.
Okay, well, then let's just assume that we've got the 3 of you guys working together with Sid and Dana. Will that be all right? Okay, then we've got a committee of 5. That ought to be more than enough to handle this, does anybody think any other way? Then what about this same weekend? I know this year's been unusual. The wheat crop is coming in. We've seen harvesters going nuts around here, but we've never noticed that before. Is this, Joe Pat, you're a weatherman, do you think this is a one-time deal? Hopefully that you got this far behind, and this is a pretty good weekend normally.
Second weekend in June.
Yeah, okay.
So we got a 50-50%
That's right.
chance of rain?
Yeah.
I'll be as accurate as the weather.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, then let's mark, does someone have a calendar? What is, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. June the 9th? June 9th is Saturday.
That's Andrea's
2 years out from today, June the 9th.
She'll be 40.
Well, she's coming with us, we're gonna break her in right here. June 9th, 2018. Let's set that as the date. We've got a committee, a search committee, gonna stick their heads together and keep us all posted. Another thank you besides Suzanne, thank you for the cards. The family tree cards that you put together. Well, that was.
And these 2.
Yeah, well, I'm saving the best for last. I'm gonna get these 2 good. But thank you for the cards and the way you took that on. And I guess more than I can put into words, Barbara and Linda, and what they've meant to Steph and I, and how anytime that we've been involved with this, if we couldn't handle it, they never let us down and took up the slack. So
Let's give them a hand.
So if it looks like that we're gonna go on with this, and I think it's a good thing. You know, families that are knit like this are priceless. So there had been a suggestion, if there'd been any money left, to go into the Vera fund. But since we're going to proceed with this, is there any way that you all could maybe look and maybe make a small donation for the class, for the reunion of 2016 to the Vera Cemetery Fund?
We can do that. Let's, after we get through with Joe Pat doing the treasurer's report, we don't know how much money we've brought in today. This is up to this point.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure we can make something up.
Okay, and I'll finish up my part of this right quick. We did have finally got together with a few golf people, and we got out there and played, had a good time, but it was such an odd timed event, and there were more people on the Seymour Golf and Country Club today than I've seen combined in the last 10 years. There were 2 groups of about 12 in each group, and we had 7 or 8 in our group and other people out there. So we went with a different venue this year, and instead of the singles title, because we didn't get to play a straight through 9 holes and everybody keeps score, we did a 2-man scramble. And this year we had Braden and John Moore teamed up and pretty well put a whip into everybody. But we had a good time. So John, you're the only one here. If you'll come up, we'll make a presentation for you. You got just a second?
I get to put one arm in it, and Brandon gets to put one arm in it later.
Yeah, Braden, yeah.
I don't need it. I'll let him
Customary green jacket.
carry it around for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't have to put it on there.
I think we'd all like to see you put it on, John. Come on.
I think it's gonna actually fit too. Well, we did get it big enough.
Every day.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Done now?
Appreciate it. Get your name.
We gotta do the last, well, me and Brandon, we gotta do the last 2. And you'll have to figure out who won that.
I'll see if I can go back and remember who did what now.
We'll
Okay.
just put you down as winner, because me and you the only one that's winning.
We weren't we? You forgot about that. Yeah, we had a big crowd. I think we were the only 2 on the golf course that day too, yeah. Is there any other, before we get turned on, I guess, Joe Pat, you've got the financial report. Is there any other business that we would need to go to right quick before we get Joe Pat up here and get
Kyle, I
started?
do have a question on the proposed venue for Dallas. Would it be the first half of the day, we go do group things, for example, golf, and the kids go swimming, and then the second half of the day, get together in the pavilion room or something and do a lunch and our typical gathering?
I think that's the way it went both times we
Was
played
it?
golf down there.
We actually played golf on Friday. I know one time.
Yeah, we did.
The other time we did Saturday morning.
Yeah, Boaz or something like that.
Something to think about as we go for planning
Yeah.
purposes, if
Once
there is
it-
something that's gonna occur on a Friday, for example, golf that somebody might want to attend, they would know that they'd have to be down there the day
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, before we get, I guess before it's all put together in print and sent out, we'll make sure about that then. Okay? we'll check.
And I don't think, to me, it doesn't matter that much. I mean, a little bit where it's at, but it's not that relevant. The relevant thing is the parents talking to the children and the grandchildren and getting them to come. Because I've
Yeah.
been on him for the last 4 years to make these last 2.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
call him and remind him, and,
Yeah,
you know.
and I think the more we get, for the most part, whether or not they would admit it, the youngsters that do come do have a good time.
Yeah.
And the more of them that come, the more of this legacy that's gonna be passed on.
So if you don't get them to come, they're not gonna have the opportunity to have fun. They're
Yeah.
not gonna meet their cousins.
Yeah, this is what happens every other year, so you need to take advantage of them. 'cause we're not-
It's kinda like church. I mean, if you don't get your kids in church, they're not gonna go to
And
church.
we're not-
If you don't bring them to the reunion, they're not gonna come to the
Yeah,
reunion.
yeah, and we're not promised tomorrow, so we need to just take advantage of every day. Yes, ma'am?
I'm wondering, we have second cousins that are going to be doing a lot for us. Should we put some third cousins in the group also, so we'll have?
Representation for some?
Yeah, just a thought. I'll let them decide that.
Oh. Give me some names, who would? I'll check it
Yeah,
out and
I
see.
think that might be.
Got me curious, I don't know where the third cousin
Yeah,
start, that's,
right.
okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, Joe Pat has the financial totals and everything that we'll be looking at and get us caught up on how we're looking at it.
Just want to take just a second. When the 2012 reunion ended, we scraped up enough money, we barely got by in 2012. And 2014, we didn't have enough money in the fund to reserve this building and to do anything else. And we put the word out, and y'all were great. Donations come in, and we had that money. So to start 2014, we had $352.39 after some donations. Then we made a whole $2.02 in interest. We couldn't continue our reunion on interest, but then when we had our meeting, the meals everybody paid in donations while we were here that weekend was $380.65. And then if we'll clean this building back up, which we've always done, Suzanne in the city of Seymour refunded us $50 for renting this building. So we end up with $785.06 after the reunion in 2014. So we done good, and then we had money to go reserve this building. We had to pay for half of it when Suzanne got it for us a year in advance on January of 15. We paid for half of it, and then we had to pay for the rest of it 2 weeks before we met. So we paid for it May the 25th, the other 131. So we have $522.56 as our current balance, and I have not counted any money that's come in today. As Kyle said, if you were here last night, we suggested $5 if you ate with us last night and $10 per person per plate today. And there is a donation basket back there, and if you wanted to donate a little bit more over that amount, that will be fine. Our meal last night and today was $394.59, and we should get the $50 back today from the cleaning up the building. So we've got $177.97 before we have donation and pay for meals today. So, any questions?
Any other business that we need to take care of right quick? It seems like we're on a good positive start for 2 years down the road, so we'll start getting excited about that, looking forward to it, and hope things fall together for everyone here, and hopefully we can bring even more that time. We have had as many as we had gotten up into the low 90s back in I think it was back in the 80s. And now we've had, what did we, 40 something today? 40 something. I think we've had it down in the 30s, so this is an improvement. We've got a lot more that we can get here and let them see that we are having a good time. We do still have a good time when we get together like this. So, anything else before we close this part and let the visiting? Well, again, on behalf of Granny Shoopman and everyone on down, thank you all for making this a success. It's always a neat time. You get to visit with everybody. We look forward to seeing you guys, and hopefully we've got it lined up again here in a couple of years, and we'll keep this tradition going. Okay. Thank you all. It's time.